Hello, all my fellow skeptics out there. This is the Skeptical Skeptic back again. Just a short video this time, but something I've wanted to talk about for a while. So, one of the things I often heard when I was being raised in Christianity is that faith in God and trust in Jesus is greatly beneficial to a person's emotional well-being. Basically, if you have achieved true faith, then you will be a much kinder and level-headed person, and all the anger and bitterness in you will just wash away and you will gain inner peace. And when I was growing up, this actually seemed to check out. See, the kinds of Christian influencers I grew up around were not the fire and brimstone the government and Satanists are out to get us kill the gays types. The religious teachers and clergymen I was exposed to were all extremely nice, relaxed, and respectful. Granted, that veneer of respect and kindness definitely cloaked some more sinister beliefs, as I would come to find out, but my point is, it did really seem to me that people who did have faith and earnest belief were overall really well put together individuals who couldn't be shaken by the things happening in their lives. Now, to be clear, this was people who had faith and earnest belief, not just people who are religious. People who I noticed had a more casual faith didn't really seem to get these same benefits. I mean, my mom and dad and my stepmom all went to church, but in my eyes, nothing about their faith really seemed to make them any calmer or better adjusted to dealing with the hardships of life. I mean, yeah, sure, after going to church, my parents might become calmer and more in peace for like 3 hours before the short-term holiness boost wore off, and then they went back to being their normal spazzy selves. But for the adults at my school and church community, things seemed different for them, like they really had just, a handle on things, and there wasn't a mean bone in their body, as if they truly had been touched by the Spirit of Jesus and given his patience and kindness. However, one particular incident has always stuck out in my mind as completely shattering that idea. You see, one day, I'm pretty sure it was during senior year, I was helping out doing some community service at the school, and I was working with this faculty member who was just the nicest, sweetest person you can imagine, and seemed to always have a handle on everything. The quintessential inner peace type Christian that I was describing earlier. And then, something very strange happened. You see, this faculty member had brought her daughter to work that day, and she was about 5 to 7 years old, maybe. It was 2 years ago, so I don't have a perfect memory of the incident. But I think what happened is that the daughter started, playing with some of the materials and props that we were using for setup. And then the faculty member went completely ballistic. She just went off, screaming at her daughter, demanding that she stop what she was doing, and telling her about how incredibly disobedient and badly behaved she was. For several minutes, she continued yelling at her daughter for what was a pretty harmless offense and wasn't really affecting our setup that we were doing. It's normal for kids to want to play with cool-looking stuff, but the faculty member was acting like her daughter crashed her car or something. It was so incredibly jarring to see this normally calm and composed person going to crazed and emotional immediately where her family is concerned. I don't know what her family situation is or how her daughter usually acts, but for the entire time I had to listen to that whole exchange, I just felt so bad for that little girl and how she was getting verbally obliterated for doing almost nothing. But this one moment was eye-opening because it truly sold me on the idea that the calm, collected, and at-peace persona that these faithful Christians wear is just a facade. It's bullshit. They don't act in public the same way they do in their personal lives, which are probably just as messy and fraught with issues as everyone else's lives. Now, I'm not saying wearing masks is necessarily a bad thing. I mean, everyone wears masks in their lives to a certain extent. When I'm at work and dealing with the residents at the nursing home, I don't act the same way I do in my private life, and with good reason. But what I'm trying to get at here is that Christians will try to sell you the idea that having faith in God and Jesus will make it so that kindness and long-suffering aren't just an act, and you will feel at peace throughout all aspects of your life. And I don't buy that. I don't believe that most faithful Christians act in that way in their personal lives, as well as their professional lives. So don't you believe it either. It's false advertising. Now, of course, I understand that this particular instance is only an anecdote, and anecdotes don't prove anything on their own. I don't have hard evidence that faithful Christians who act nice and peaceable on the outside are just as messed up as everyone else in their personal lives. But I really do think that instance when I was doing community service with the Christian faculty member is a microcosm of a larger trend. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with me that Christian kindness is a deception? Have you ever experienced any moments like this where you saw the mask slip, so to speak? Make sure to post your comments down below. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, remember, be compassionate, be understanding, but most importantly, never stop questioning. Bye.